Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here, once again. Okay, I need to get around to doing this because I know if I don't, I'll just forget about it and then I'll be like, there's not much point in doing it now. But in my mind right now, it's like, Donald, you gotta do this. You gotta talk about this. The time is right. Fucking open up Sony Vegas, nick some gameplay from somewhere, probably off of like Sony's official channel, because I don't think they'll mind too much. Plus, I'm demonetized anyway. I'm gonna be a rebel, goddammit. And fucking talk about Yakuza 6, The Song of Life. Because, holy shit, guys. Holy shit, right? See, you all know me. I'm a big Yakuza guy, okay? Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this, okay? I've been there since, like, technically I've been there since 2010. I've actually been there since the beginning. I owned the games around the time when they came out. I just never really got to them until Yakuza 3 came out. And, you know, I just fell in love, like, so hard, you know. It really is, like, the best thing that Sega currently makes, you know? Like, Sonic is inconsistent as fuck now, especially recently. And, yeah, you get the odd, like, really swell game from Sega and all that. But consistently, you know, 2 last year, 2 this year, Yakuza, easily the best thing they do, okay? Very happy to say that, and I'm so happy that it is now doing as well as it is in the West, you know? I mean, speaking as a fan who was there at the PS2 time, you know? It's never been good being a Yakuza fan, you know? There's always been like this really niche aura to the series, and like nobody's ever played it. It's very rare to have somebody to like talk about it with almost. But now that we live in a post-Yakuza world, you know, that game came out last year and just really blew up, everybody's like posting memes about fucking Majima, and it's honestly surreal to me. Like, to the point, right, I have a friend, and this friend will know exactly who he is, and sorry man, but I have a friend who was like so concerned about Yakuza 6 coming out. He's a big Yakuza fan now, who was so concerned about the game coming out, like, within the same time span of God of War, which was, like, this big game, and it might, like, overshadow it. Despite the fact that Yakuza 0 came out on the exact same day as Resident Evil 7, arguably just as big a release for PlayStation, and that did just fine. And it just makes me want to scream. It's like, do you know what it was like living in a post-Yakuza 4 world? Waiting all that time for Yakuza 5, 3 full years, then getting a sloppy as fuck digital-only version of the game. Yakuza fans have been through some shit, okay? So, this world that we live in right now, I am very, very happy with it. The fact that we even have more Yakuza to come this year, of all things, too. So, yeah. This was supposed to be a review, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Okay, so, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, the 6th game in the series. Technically the 7th, because we have Yakuza 0 now. And it marks the end of the saga for Kazuma Kiryu, who has always been the face of the franchise. Now, in the past few years, they've introduced like other playable characters, starting with Yakuza 4, then went on to like 5 and 0. But this one, they've opted to go back to Kiryu being solo, you know? They want to, like, close off his saga altogether. Now, you can blame, and there are probably a lot of instances throughout the game where you could make this argument, a lot of things that you could say, oh, well, they've made it on a new engine. They had to, like, cut things and stuff. So that's why Kazuma only has one fighting style, where he had, like, 4 in Yakuza Kiwami. That's why he's the only playable character for stuff like that. And, you know, that may well be the case, but it does work, and it does focus on his story, on his, like, the things he cares about, and ends things very well. This is a very spoiler-free video, so I'm not going to talk about that aspect, per se. But, you know, touching upon that, yeah, the new engine, called the Dragon Engine, which is, this game is running on. Oh my god, it is so gorgeous, you know? Like, that was a complaint about Yakuza 0 that bothered the shit out of me, you know? You had people talking about, oh, this looks awful, oh, it looks like a PS3 game. It technically was a PS3 game, I'll give you that, but did it really have to look any better than it did? You know, that was my, like, That was what I always said about it, and I will stick to it. But at the same time, I look at this game, it looks so much better than Yakuza 0, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty. That's so pretty. Especially Kamurocho at night. You know, like, all the lighting, all the neon signs shining in your face. It's gorgeous. The fact that you can, like, nip in and out of stores without any loading times, and in and out of battle without any loading times, you know. Wonderful, wonderful engine, and I look forward to more games in the series running on it, including Kiwami 2, which is coming out this year. And the production values don't stop there. I've also noticed that everything is voiced now. Every single line of dialogue in this game, to the most obscure side quests, is fully voiced. Real impressive, because there was obviously loads of text that you had to go through in the previous games and whatnot. And again, that was something that you got a lot of complaints about, where it never bothered me. You know, I can read. I don't mind reading. God damn it. But yeah, it is kind of cool that they. Actually, I don't want to say they tackled that complaint, unless it was a complaint back in Japan as well. Because again, this game is a year and a half old, pretty much. All things considered, we've just finally gotten it. So I don't know if the complaints got to Sega of Japan and I don't know. But either way, everything's voiced, everything's really pretty. Presentation is pretty much a 10 out of 10. Okay, I can't think of anything that's really bad about it. It's just such a beautiful, well put together game, and yeah, I dig it. I really dig it. It's candy for the eyes, it really is. But the main thing that I'm definitely here for, and I feel is the case with a lot of people, is the wonderful story that the Yakuza series has built up over the years. And I could talk a lot about the story of Yakuza and how it almost came about by accident, because they just made this really in the first Yakuza, this very sort of standard crime drama thing, and it just they just kept building on top of it, and you'd think that by doing that it would fall to pieces, but it didn't. It just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just this wonderful thing that so many people are into and stuff, myself included. And the story, oh my god, I was sure, right? I'm always wondering, I should say, that at one point, with the frequency that these games come out, they gotta run out of creative juice at some point. You know, they gotta be okay, we're making another Yakuza game for this year. Right, let's we've done that already. Fuck. You know, you'd think that would happen, but it hasn't yet. In fact, this is possibly the most I don't want to say most imaginative, but it doesn't show any signs whatsoever of slowing down. That's pretty much what I want to say there. You know, the story is just such an emotional ride. If you've all probably seen the promotional art so far, you know, the baby. Okay, I don't want to talk about it too much. All I'll say is that, god damn it, it was very, very feelsy, and I teared up multiple times and was just, it's such a good story. Okay, it's very much what you've come to expect from the Yakuza games, which is to say, it's got that. This is something the series has definitely gained a lot of credit for in the past year or so. It's got that tonal balance. And that, even before people started saying that about Yakuza 0, that was something I always admired about the Yakuza games, and the fact that they could be so serious, but at the same time so nonsensical and so goofy at the same time, and the two tones never clash into each other. They blend together so well, and it just makes something that you can pretty much enjoy no matter what fucking mood you're in. If you're in the mood for goofy shit, you could play Yakuza. If you're in the mood for serious shit, you could play Yakuza. It's they must just have that down over there at the Ryuga Gotoku studio, you know. Toshihiro Nagoshi, you've got that. You've got that. You really do. But yeah, the only thing I guess I could criticize with the story is I guess there's some things I could rant about the ending, but I won't rant about them here. God damn it! But definitely the main thing is that it starts off literally at the end of Yakuza 5. It 100% assumes you've played Yakuza 5. Okay, you play the first 10 minutes of this game, you'll be like, what in the actual fuck? If you've just come off of Yakuza 0 or Yakuza Kiwami, you won't know who Saejima is, you won't know who Akiyama is, you won't even know who Daigo is, you know? And those three characters that I just named, they're pretty they're pretty important, honestly, along with like Majima, which I'm sure many people are familiar with at this point. But yeah, Akiyama, Saejima, Saejima, Majima, and Daigo are not in the game at all, pretty much. They show up at the beginning, and they don't show up until the very end, and that kind of sucked, you know. I would have liked to have seen... I get that it's like more of a personal focus on Kiryu, but I would have liked that a bit more. Because, I mean, Akiyama gets a good amount of time, which is awesome. I really like Akiyama, you know? But it's just weird that... I just would have expected that the other characters would have got as much screen time as he did, okay? Not that I can complain too much, because the other new characters are excellent as well. Like, Nagumo. He was a fucking... annoying as fuck guy at first. I mean, how many times has the series done this sort of character? Like, remember Rikia in Yakuza 5? You know, he comes up, he's like all confrontational. It's like, oh, fuck you, old man. And then in the next scene, he's calling him Aniki. You know, it's like, yeah, they've done it before, but they still make it seem so fresh and cool. And the new villains are amazing. You know, like Somiya. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing these and remembering these correctly. Koshimizu. Okay, I'm gonna stop listing them because I'll butcher their names, but fuck's sake, I really dig them. You know, you gotta have good villains in these games, you really do. And there's actually like an interesting twist to the main villain in this game, which again I'm not gonna discuss, spoilers, but I appreciated the change in like perception, I should say. I don't know. I'll stop. Okay, story wise, I'll stop there, but let's just say it was very much what I've come to expect from Yakuza, which is pretty much the main phrase of the day, I should say. But, okay, what else we got? Okay, gameplay. Now, this is probably where I'm getting a little bit more negative, almost, because I kind of alluded to earlier there, you know, you're just playing as Kiryu, and he only has the one fighting style again, you know. Now, we haven't had this sort of like setup since Yakuza 3, because we've always either had like more playable characters or more fighting styles to like sort of play about with. But no, you're just back to you're playing as Kiryu, one fighting style, go nuts. And there's really like a lack of heat moves to pull off. My favorite heat move, probably in the entire series, is to get the heat gauge up, get your enemy on the ground, hit the triangle button, and fucking put your foot into his face. You can't do that in this game. That's like, if that was in there, I probably wouldn't be as moaning as much as I did. I really did miss that particular, like, action, right? And other than that, the fighting does feel like a little bit more heavy, and I suppose that's supposed to be, like, the case. Like, they've implemented, like, ragdoll physics and, you know, a lot more, like, things you can pick up in the environment and whatnot. And obviously the focus is kind of there, and that's fine. You know, I can nitpick a lot, but I guess I would have preferred something more similar to what we got in like Yakuza 4, 5, 0, Kiwami, you know, stuff like that. There's always been little like tweaks to the combat throughout the series, but I'd say this is possibly the biggest overhaul it's ever gotten. At least in terms of like taking stuff away and not making it as good. Because I remember first playing Yakuza 0 and getting those 3 combat stances. I was like, oh fuck, I was a little overwhelmed, you know, because I was just so used to the one combat style. Even though I did for the most part kind of just stick with the one, but I'm rambling like fuck here. Either way, the combat is very good, but I feel like it is weaker. Okay, that's just an opinion I have that I wish I didn't, but I will say I do think it is a little bit weaker. Now, actually, speaking of something that's a little bit weaker, and I'm gonna say this kind of here because I'll forget if I save it for later. But Kamurocho is back. You know, the city of Kamurocho is pretty much a character in of itself in this series. You know, it's like it's never gonna go away. It's always like nostalgic almost to like go down them whenever I come back to it. But yeah, that's kind of cool. And you also have like a new city as well. Let me think here. You know, other Yakuza games do this. It depends on the title, but usually you will always have like a second sort of smaller city to explore alongside Kamurocho. In this case, it's Onimichi. down in Hiroshima, Japan. They keep like changing. You keep going to like little different locations, which I've always appreciated. But it's Hiroshima this time. Now, it's a cool town, Onomichi. Very nice. But Kamurocho, as pretty as it looks on the new Dragon engine, they cut a few areas. Okay, like namely the back way leading to Purgatory, which has been very prominent in past Yakuza games. You know, the entire back street. And the Champion District, which was like that sort of like very square shape, sort of very like narrow streeted district in Kamurocho that had like all the bars and stuff. That's completely gone. And there was also like an underground mall, which you could go into in Yakuza 5. And I believe it actually first showed up in Dead Souls. Like you could go down that sort of like a stairway. That was the first game you could do it, funnily enough. Then they cut it in Yakuza 0 for whatever reason. But the fact of the matter is, Yakuza Kamurocho feels a little bit trimmed. Even though you can go like to the top of certain buildings, you know, they have like added new areas to compensate. It's just so weird because you go to these streets and you know that they're there. You've played 6 fucking games beforehand, but they're sort of blocked off, and you've got this fucking workman saying, "Oh no, you can't come here." And it's like, why not? I know what's there. Fuck's it. Why can't I explore it? That bugged me the more I like thought about it. Really did. But with that said, sub-stories. Okay, this is pretty much one of the biggest things that the series is known for at this point. It's very wacky, goofy sub-stories. And yeah, they're still here. And yeah, they're pretty good. My favorite was probably Onomichio, the fucking mascot of Onomichi. I feel like that's probably kind of cliche to say. I think that's going to be like everybody's favorite, but I don't give a fuck. It was wonderful. I loved Onomichio. He was, yeah, he was the best. But yeah, sub-stories, very good. But in terms of like extras in general, I guess the ones I want to talk about is that, you know, the main draw, I guess you could say, was the clan creator, where you could recruit people and basically play a sort of like real-time strategy minigame with various characters that Kiryu was like the boss of. Didn't get into that, you know. Just didn't have much drive to be fair. And there was also like baseball. I think a friend of mine actually compared it to Football Manager, you know, only it was baseball. So I didn't get much into that either. There was like a bar mini game where you would like befriend people in a bar. That was actually really good. I enjoyed that. But by far the best extra in this game is Club Sega. Holy crap, they really expanded on this. They really outdid themselves, because not only do you have like the classic Yu Suzuki arcade classics, Outrun, Hang On, Space Harrier, all that jazz returning from Yakuza 0, but you also have a fully working version of Puyo Puyo and Virtua Fighter 5. That blows my mind. You went up to an arcade cabinet, it would load for a bit, and it would just load up the arcade version of Virtua Fighter 5, and you could play 2 players. It was running at 60 frames per second. It was pretty much arcade perfect. Holy shit! Holy shit! Okay. Hopefully the fact that they're just chucking that in there means Virtua Fighter 6 is on the horizon, eh? But whatever. Club Sega, like that was a really wonderful like addition for sure. And yeah, like I could probably gush a good bit longer, you know. Again, I kind of want to delve into story aspects, but I said I would leave this spoiler free. But this is a very, very like welcome entry to the series, and a very like appropriate send off for Kazuma Kiryu, the main character, who, you know, I've said multiple times, is my favorite video game character. You know, possibly tied with like Phoenix Wright. You know, I love this guy, and to see him go now is very, very bittersweet. You know, again, we're gonna get Yakuza Kiwami 2, and I highly doubt we're gonna see the last of him. Not necessarily just like outside the main series Yakuza games, but you know, it's like if Sega ever wants to make a new All-Stars racing game, he's probably gonna be in there. You know, there's rumors that Kazuma Kiryu is going to show up in Tekken 7. Holy shit, I will so get into that game hardcore if he is in there, by the way. So yeah, he's definitely like an icon of the company. And yeah, he's not going to go away in that respect. But as far as like the series go, what we do know is that they are working on a new installment of the series with a new protagonist known as Kazuga Ichiban. And he looks cool. You know, he does look cool. Whether or not he's got some hella boots to fill, that's for sure. Who knows how he'll do it, but you know, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you, Ichiban. You know, and we here in the West will probably get his game in a couple of years. You know, I'd imagine that Japan is going to. I'm gonna guess get it by the end of this year, considering nobody sleeps at that studio and they get so many games out so quickly. It's insane. But yeah, that's something to look forward to. So yeah. Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, fucking loved it. I got to gush about it for 21 minutes, holy shit. And yeah, that's that. I guess I can finally go on to Little King's Story 2 or God of War or something, I don't know. No way I wasn't gonna play Yakuza 6 first, but yeah, that's that, guys. See you after. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.